All right, welcome back. I am sorry about that. For those of you that are just tuning in, my internet went down just a short while ago. So my previous stream went down about an hour and 50 minutes in. I tried to restart it as quickly as possible, and then that stream ended up going down as well because I guess my internet just screwed up. So I took a short little break. It's been about, I don't know, 20 minutes or so since I last streamed, and I'm going to continue from here. I reset the timer to where I saw that it stopped. So the timer actually kept going on my computer, but I was able to see where the time should have stopped based on when I stopped streaming. So I've reset the timer, and I'm now going to keep it going. I do want to get to at least 24 hours today, so at least 1 hour and 12 minutes more is what we're going to stream here. If you're just tuning in for the first time, if this is like the first video you're clicking, then I'm working on a 60-hour bet this month of August 2020. I'm trying to get to 60 hours streaming. If you didn't see the previous video, I'd recommend starting with that one because I started working on a project, and then I pivoted a couple of times, and I'm going to continue working on it in this video, and we'll see how far we get. And as I always recommend, if you are just seeing this, I would recommend scrolling to the end of this video and seeing what I end up coming up with, and that you'll know if this stream is for you if you want to watch me struggle through this stuff. So I hope my internet's good now. So hopefully we don't have any more issues. But if it goes down again, then I'll probably call it a night just because that was a little frustrating. The streak is dead now, but that's okay. Let me start the timer back up. So we're at 22 hours, 48 minutes, and 31 seconds now, and now we're going. So the timer is going again, and where I left off just a few minutes ago was I kind of finished the look of the form that I'm trying to create here. So the problem that we have is that at my job we have teachers that have to fill out, basically they have to do a lot of steps, and there's a lot of extra steps or extra boxes that they could fill out that they don't need to fill out. So imagine getting a form with hundreds of boxes and you only need to fill out 8 or 9 of them. So that's the issue that we have. And then, if you do fill out one that you're not supposed to or that's not necessary, then you're just wasting time. Or you might put something down that you shouldn't. Like maybe you put an option, you put the date in the future that you shouldn't be putting. So I want to try to minimize those mistakes by trying to create my own form that will create the PDF itself. Now, I don't know how far I'll get. I don't know how successful I'll be, but I'm going to keep working on this and seeing how far I get. So this is like a little side project to the my other main project that I've been working on. But since I got a new computer today, I don't have all of my files over on this computer or everything installed. So I'm kind of just I figured I'd use this as an opportunity to do something new, get away from that for just a few hours, and then come back to it with some more knowledge that I can bring from this project into that one. Because I am going to have to create a form in my other project to be able to create teachers, schools, and things in the database. So it's gonna probably look a little similar to this, at least for me to be able to easily put someone to be able to insert things into the database. So I figured I'd start a new Angular project, bring in Bootstrap, and see how far we get. Okay, so we have this so far, and as I was mentioning in the other project or in the other video, there are some drop-down items that will not be here depending on what the person chooses. So for example, if I know that they're in APCSA, if that's the program that they're in, maybe we didn't have a training on every single day. So we should filter out only the trainings that APCSA program people would have had available to them. But right now I'm showing everything to everyone because I haven't done any coding, any backend coding or JavaScript or TypeScript to remove some of those options if they shouldn't be available. And also the training titles and the times. One of the biggest problems we have also is that people don't know what time to put in or stuff like that. So or where to put that in on the actual form. So doing something like this will like totally minimize our problems that we have at my job. Also, we need people's signatures, so I need to implement some sort of signature mechanism. So I added that here at the bottom, even though it's not working because I have to figure out how to like get that to work. But even if it's just like someone typing in their name and putting today's date, that could count as a signature probably. But when they hit submit form, I want to take this, package it up, and send it to my backend. So I'm gonna have to create a little tiny server. We'll see if we get to that today, because now it's getting, I know the title of this stream is Late Night Coding, but it is getting to, it's almost midnight now. So it is late night. And I've been working since like 8:30 in the morning. So I'm feeling a little bit tired, but I did have some coffee a couple of hours ago, which is, I guess, hopefully still working on me, still having an effect on me. All right, so now what I have to figure out is how to bring in Angular forms into this project. So in Angular, there are a couple of ways to capture what people are putting inside of forms, to validate what they're putting inside of the form also. So for example, if someone puts in an email address, but then they don't have the @ sign, like at google.com or at gmail.com, I can validate that and make sure that their email address that they put in actually is an email address, or is valid, or looks valid at least. Or for their names, I can make sure that there's no numbers in there. So Angular provides some of these things built in, but I have to figure out how to implement it. Now, I just mentioned that there are two ways to implement Angular forms, and one is called the template-driven method, or the template-driven form way, and the other one is called the reactive form way, or the reactive forms. And the way that reactive forms work is that you create the form, I think, using like TypeScript or maybe JavaScript. So because I already did all of the front end, I think the template-driven form is going to be easier to implement. So here I opened up an example. I opened up this example from the documentation. Where is it? Right here, the live example. So this is going to be how I'm going to capture what people entered, and how I'm going to validate it, and how I'm going to end up sending it to the backend eventually. So let's see. So we have our container. So it looks like they have a property called hidden, and that is going to be, I'm assuming that's going to be true until or unless it's submitted. So where is this form that we're looking at right now? Is that this one? Maybe not. Maybe it's not a. Oh yeah, here we go. So when I click new hero, it clears out the entire form. So the submit button is disabled. So I'm sure in the code somewhere in here, let's see if we could find it. Where do they have the? Oh, here we go. The TypeScript. So in this component, let's see. Where is the submit? Okay, so here, submitted is false. So that is the property that they are assigning to the hidden attribute in HTML. So what that means is that when this is being read, when the browser's going through this, if hidden is true, if submitted is true, then hidden will not be true. Let me make sure I said that correctly. So if submitted is true, so if this property is true, then the person will be able to, I believe, submit the form. But otherwise, when you first start this, the form, submitted is false, so hidden is false. Actually, no, then I think I said it backwards. So when this submitted property is true, or sorry, when it's false, it looks like it's false to start. See right here. How does that work, actually? Maybe they have it flipped, or maybe because it starts off with things inside, then it looks a specific way. But basically, this is how they're controlling whether or not this submit button is active or disabled. Basically, all right. Regardless of how I just said that or how I just messed it up, forgive me. It's getting late, and I might be misspeaking. Hopefully not too much. But what they're doing is they're assigning that, or they're placing that at the top. They name this hero form. This is the heading. Then they have an ng submit. So we have all right, so they're capturing the ng submit event. So the submission event. So when someone clicks on when someone submits the form, they are running the onSubmit method inside of the component. All right, so ng submit is like a custom, I guess Angular has a way of capturing when the form is submitted and not using the regular HTML way, but actually, like, I guess, intercepting the form submission and doing it the Angular way. So what it's doing is it's running the onSubmit method, which we could look at right here. OnSubmit. So the onSubmit method changes the value of the property submitted, and it sets it equal to true. Okay, so actually, let me see what happens. Maybe it's when you submit a name, an alter ego, a superpower, and you hit submit. Oh, I thought it would become disabled, but it doesn't look like it did. So it just spits back what you submitted. All right, I think our stream is still going strong. We're back at it. Looks like we don't have any dropped frames or dropped things. So it looks like we're good. I think we're good. Let's hope we can go until at least 24 hours. So we want to hit our first day live streaming tonight. Okay, so let's go back to the HTML. So we're going to have to do something very similar to this. So we'll have the ng submit event on the form tag. And it looks like this is where the template form thing comes in. So it looks like hero form is an ng form, and that's how Angular knows that this is going to be an Angular form that is a special type of form. It's not just like a vanilla HTML form here. Because ng submit is not an event that exists in HTML or JavaScript. This is an Angular thing. Same thing here with the template, the hero form. This is not an HTML thing. This is an Angular thing. So Angular is able to figure out what you're trying to accomplish when you use these types of things. So I'm going to probably have to read the documentation to make sure that I use that correctly, and I really do understand what it's actually doing. Because, I mean, that's the whole point of doing all this and learning, is that I actually want to understand it, not just copy paste it and get it to work. Okay, so then we have the name, and that is required. So that is a required field. I'll make sure that all of my things are required. So if someone leaves something empty, maybe it I think I just restarted the server here. So if someone leaves something empty, maybe I'll put like a red border around the field. Okay, so back to what I was looking at. So we need the required. Here we have some, it looks like we have some two-way binding. So we have the ng model. So you'll see it's in parentheses and with brackets outside of that. And that is the model.name. So let's see. So in our component, we should have the model here. Here's the model. So the model is, I guess, with the form, like the actual form here. It's an object. Actually, it's not an object. It's a hero. It's a new hero. So this is a constructor. And where do they kind of say how to create it? Where's the constructor for the new hero? Oh, here we go. So they're importing hero from this hero file that's somewhere else. It's one level above or higher. And this is the constructor for the hero class. So the heroes should have an ID, a name, a power, and alter ego. And it looks like the alter ego, because it has that question mark, I'm going to assume that that is an optional property or an optional field. Everything else is going to be required: the ID, the name, and the power. Okay, so that is where we're getting the hero from, and they're importing it into this component. So I can do something similar. I can create not a hero class, or constructor, but a a form submission constructor that has all the fields that will need to be submitted. Okay, so let's see what else. Oh, you could also see. Okay, so here's the powers. So, okay, obviously, now that I'm realizing now that this is a hero, like a superhero kind of thing. So they could have an alter ego, a different name. They have different hero powers, and I'll figure out how they're. Okay, so I'm gonna do something similar actually because as you can see, it is filling in the it's filling in the drop down menu with the items in this array, this powers array. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that using Angular also, because I have a bunch of these. Let's see. Let me go back to my HTML to see how they're doing that. So we have our. So that is actually in the. Actually, that is not the name, but that is going to be in the hero power. So let's go down to hero power. Let's see how that works. We have the ng model.power, and looks like we have the I forget what this is called, like this pound sign or hashtag power, what that actually means. That might be some sort of like a variable, basically. Maybe that's how we're assigning what the items are. Maybe. So this option ng4, that is how we're filling in the drop down menu with all of our items, all the different items from the powers array in our components. Okay, so I will be able to do that. That shouldn't be too bad. Is hidden? What are these things? Power is required. Oh, maybe if I don't have a power, then if I hit new hero, oh, that's what's happening. So if I don't select a power, it's saying that the power is required. So that could be something that I might want to implement in mine also. But like I said, I'll probably just like highlight it red if they don't submit something or choose something. Let's see. So I guess that's how they're hiding it. They're hiding it if the power is valid, so if someone's chosen a power, or if the power is pristine. And what pristine is, I believe it's a class on this dropdown that means that it has not been touched. So, once someone clicks on this and chooses something or doesn't choose something, actually, I guess I got to do a new hero. New hero without reset, or just new hero. Okay, so once something has been like touched, it is not pristine. So if you click on a field or if you click on something in Angular, it is now not pristine. That's how Angular is able to detect if someone has already clicked on something or touched something. Okay, and here we have the submit button. That is here's the property or the attribute. Disabled, which will be enabled depending on the value of submitted. Okay, so that is going to be how we're going to make sure our button cannot be clicked until everything is good to go. Yeah. Oh, so actually, not only. Yeah. Okay. Maybe let me backtrack there a second. So they set the disabled property to. Oops. Let me go back here. They set it to heroform.form.valid. So when the whole form is valid or not valid, disabled is going to be true and submit will not be available to be clicked. So that's what this little exclamation point is doing. It's reversing the truthiness or truth or false value. So you could also think of like the exclamation point as not. So when it's not valid, it is going to be disabled. And is there anything else here? Okay, and here they have a couple of other methods on clicks. So if you click on, I guess, the new hero button, it runs the new hero or the hero form.reset methods. Actually, I'm not sure how this works. Maybe it does both. So when you click on this one, it'll do new hero and reset everything. What would be the not or the without reset way of doing things? So let's say I type something there. When I hit new hero without reset, And let me try with the reset. I don't quite know or see what the difference is, but it doesn't really matter. All right, so now that I have a better idea of how this is going to go, or how this is going to work, let's start reading through the documentation and then making sure that our code meets that or does those things. So let me drag this over just a little bit. And is there any way for me to place this back in there? No, probably not. That's okay. So we'll keep that open. We're going to read through this. We're going to read through this and fix our code to make sure that that it will work. All right, so I'm going to start reading through this. Tutorial shows you how to do that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I got that. Angular supports a two-design approach, as I mentioned, either the template-driven approach or the reactive approach. Yep, right there, reactive or model-driven. Template-driven forms are suitable for smaller, simple forms, while reactive forms are more scalable and suitable for complex forms. I don't know if mine would be considered complex or simple. I'm going to hope it's simple because I'm going to start working on it with the template-driven form. You can build almost any kind of form with the template, logins, contacts, any business form. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, this tutorial will help me build an Angular form with a component and a template. Use ngModel to create two-way data bindings for reading and writing input control values. Provide visual feedback using special CSS. Okay, that keeps track of the state of the controls. Share information across elements using template reference variables. Okay, so I think that is what I was talking about before with the when you saw the hashtag or the pound sign. Those are called template reference variables. So we'll see how those work in a little bit. Yeah, as you can see, it's the hashtag and the variable. I guess how we're going to be able to access it in TypeScript. Before going any further, you should have a basic understanding of TypeScript and HTML5, and we do. Angular app design fundamentals. I wouldn't say we have a good foundation, but we figure stuff out. The basics of Angular template syntax. So I think that goes back to what I was just mentioning. So I don't know if I know the basics. I don't know what I know. So I'll just figure it out on the fly or Google a solution in a little bit. And the form design concepts that are presented in Introduction to Forms. I guess I should open that and see what they say. Choosing an approach. Okay, so template driven, structured immutable, asynchronous directives. We'll see. We'll come back to that if we need to. For now, we'll just keep going. Template driven forms rely on the directives defined in the forms module. So we're going to have to bring in the forms module, I think. Actually, it might already be in our project by default. Let's see. No, only the browser module. So we're going to have to bring in the forms module to be able to do this at all. Okay, what else? We'll get to that in a little bit. All right. Build the basic form step-by-step or step overview. All right, so here we have the constructor for the hero. I guess I should make a constructor for. I should make a constructor for a teacher or teacher trainer or teacher in training or something. I want to call it form, but it's not really what I'm trying to create here. I'm trying to create a I don't even know. It's not a hero, it's not a teacher, but it kind of is a teacher because every teacher is going to be doing their own form. Let me open it up again. So localhost 4200. Yeah, I guess it's for each teacher. You know what? It is. So that is going to be that's the class that I'm going to create. So let us do that. And because this is all, let's see. Let me think. Where do I want to put that? Am I just going to put that straight up in the you know what? Let's put in the component. We don't need to start breaking apart this project or, refactoring it or, because for now it's pretty small. The project's pretty small. So let us create the class inside of the component here. The class is going to be the teacher. And let's create the constructor for this class. Constructor. And I'm looking at my code over here. Okay, so I guess we'll use public. Whatever it says. We'll do what it says. Public. I misspelled that completely. Public, and what we have is let's see, what are the things we have in our form? And we have to give it a type, I guess, also, because it is called TypeScript. So let's do this. So we have the full name, public full name. That's a string. Is that actually it's separated by commas, I believe. Okay, so email address. So we'll just do a public email. That's, I guess, also a string. File number, public file number. That is a number. School. So that is going to be from the array. So I have to figure out how to make that, actually. I'm not 100% sure how to do that without looking. So I'm going to have to see how they did it. So we have our school. So same thing with the program name, the training date. I guess maybe I'll just make those all strings for now. Training title. Or I'll do title and time. Training title and time. Let's be very explicit. And I'm sure we're going to have public in front of some of these. So let's figure out school. We'll do school name, program name, training date, training title, and time. Email, full name, file number. So these are all of the teacher. And we'll figure out where we should put public in front of when we should use it, when we should not. So where's my example? I thought I was just looking at it. There it is. So let's see how they did this. Let me go back to my component here. So they created an array for the possible dates, or I will create an array for the possible dates, programs, stuff like that. So let us do that. Let's start implementing that. So that is going to be in my, I'll put that up here. And I'm going to get rid of this this title property. So we are going to have school name, which is going to be an array, and we'll just have, like, let's say 3 schools in there for now. So we'll do PS1, PS2, and PS3. So I'm going to hit save. Uh-oh, is Prettier not formatting my code correctly? No, it's not again. Here we go. All right, I see a little thing down here. What is it saying? Class teacher. Oh, maybe I can't do class like that. Uh-oh. Oh, you know what? Maybe the class has to be outside of all this. Is that how we do this? You know what? Let's create a class outside of all this, and we'll do the export. So this is going to be the teacher.ts. So here we'll do the export, and then this is the class that we're going to want to export. And then we'll import that. So that's going to be very similar to this thing. We will import this in the components that we have here. So inside of here, we're going to import the teacher. Import statement we have to go back one step, and we're going to bring it in from teacher. And that is called teacher. So let me hit save. Oh, whoa. I'm putting this in the wrong file. Let me put this inside of the app component. All right, so there, I imported my teacher, and now I could use that constructor eventually. All right, so we have our school name. What else did I say I had? Oh, let me hit save. Let me close this out. Prettier is all good. We have a little check here at the bottom right. So we have our possible school name. We have, let's see, our form again. Hey, why is it giving me an error here? Teacher, line 7 or 8. So let me go back to my teacher file. Oh yes, okay. So we didn't finish this. So let's do public. We'll put public in front of all of them, and I have to figure out what that actually does or means in a little bit. And I have to figure out the type. How do you declare the type of something that could be an array of strings? Let me see how they did it in this project. So powers is of type, string array. And in the constructor, so that is powers, or power is just a string. So we're going to go with that. We're just going to say that all these are strings. And we're just going to copy paste that into all of these things. There we go. So now that should fix our project or the issue we just had. There we go. There's our form again. Looks good. And now back in our component, we want to make sure that we have all the options that we're gonna put inside of our things. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me just go up to PS4 just so I could see when I get this working. I know that if there's only 4, then we are getting this correctly. Because right now there's 5, but I hard coded it. So the program names, same idea here. So we're going to do program names, set that equal to an array, and we'll just have a couple. We'll have units, we'll have AP CSP, and AP CSA. Just for fun, when I hit save, it added the semicolon, so I know that my prettier is working. Okay, so school names, program names. Maybe I'll just do schools instead of names. Programs instead of program names. What else? Dates. So let us have a few dates. And that is going to be an array of strings again because I don't know how else we're going to do this. We'll do 8-1. We'll do 9-1. And we'll do 10-1. 10-1-20. The year 2020. And then the training titles. So we'll do that too. We'll bring those in from. Let me see if I could just copy paste that from our index. Did I just closed it? No, not from the index. From actually, speaking of index, I don't need any of this stuff now that I see it, because we did not use jQuery Moment or any of those JavaScript libraries. Let me go back to my to this thing. Okay, so we have our dates and we have our. These are the training titles, or trainings, I'm going to call them, inside of here. So let me just paste this so I could see this. But these are our trainings. Trainings, and it's an array of these strings. Uh-oh. Did not mean to save that early. Not that one. I'm going to just choose these 3. That's one. This is the second one. And we need our third one, which is this one. Okay, let me delete all of this because that does not belong in TypeScript. There we go. We have our trainings, our dates, our programs, and our schools. So now we can use the teacher constructor and actually start creating these things programmatically, I guess. Let's see. Actually, before we even bring in the teacher, we could probably start using this already. So I'm going to show you what I mean. This should be fun. Let us look at, not at the HTML, but at this app component. So let's say for this form, what I want to do, I could see that I'm repeating this option. So here I'm going to use an ng4, set that equal to training of trainings. I believe that's all I'll need. So then what I could do is I'll delete all of these things. And inside of the trainings, I'm going to, what am I going to put? I'm just going to share the training. Maybe that's not how you do it. Maybe it's let training of trainings. We definitely don't want those semicolons or colons there. So I think it's let training of trainings. I think it worked. So now this is being filled in programmatically. And I can test that. Actually, I know that that's happening because I just hit save. There are no more options, but it's filling in these options here in this dropdown. So that's fun. That's working. I'm going to do the same thing for the dates. I'm going to delete all the options for the dates. I'm going to do that and call this the date. And now let's use the ng4, which is like basically going to loop through of all of the dates that I have. But let us use the item name, date of dates. So when I do that, now we see that our dates are 8/1, 9/1, and 10/1. So that's working. So now we're improving our code little by little. So that way we don't have to have all this repetition. We don't have to hard code this all in the HTML. We could have Angular actually doing something for us. So let us do the same thing for the integrated units. This I named, I think, programs. So ng form. Let's use program of programs. And then all I have to do is state what's each item, what's the program. Hit save, and I messed that one up. So that one didn't work. So maybe programs isn't correct. What did I call it? I did call it programs. Why isn't that working? ng form let program of programs. So it's an array, but it's not displaying all of the options. Why is that? So let's see. Let date of dates. Let program of programs. Option ng4. Oh, I did ng form, but it's ng4. So I mean, that would. Good thing I caught that. So now when I hit save over here on the left, now we see the programs from our array. Wow, that would have been tough to find if I didn't catch that. Surprised like nothing yelled at me there. And then the last thing for the schools. So we go from PS1 to 5. Let's get rid of that. Let's use an ng4. This is a structural directive. We're going to use let school of schools. And now inside of here, we're just going to state what the school is, what each item is as we go through the list. So I hit save, and you can see that this drop-down menu fills in with every single item correctly. So we have our drop-downs looking better, looking much better. Although right now they're not really like filtering out, it's not filtering out what's available based on the actual date. That's okay. I mean, we're just trying to get this thing working for now, and then we'll figure out that complex stuff later on. And maybe that's when we'll have to use a reactive form if that's the complexity that they're kind of like warning us to use reactive forms for. Okay, so let's see, what else is there to do? Let's go back to our Angular instructions. Let me go back here. Setting up the form model. What do we have to do? All right, so we have to import form control from Angular Forms, and we're going to do that directly into the component class. The form control directive links the explicitly created form control instance. Okay, so let us bring in that. I guess we're gonna have to bring in this. We're gonna. Oh, actually, no. This is the reactive form. This is not what we want. We don't have to do that. How do we bring in the template-driven form? All right, I created the class. We did that over here. We called it teacher.ts. Actually, we probably should have capitalized teacher. Shouldn't we have? No, they didn't over here. That's okay. Next, oh, here we go. We added and we did add the teacher to the to our component. So we did that. And now actually we could create the model. We could create so I guess this is the one that they show first. They fill it in with this, but we could create new teachers like this, right? Is this what we want? Let me think. Yeah, why not? Why don't we do that so that we could actually start seeing, we could see one of them filled in automatically. Let me make this a little bit smaller, and this too. We'll make it a little bit narrower. So we are going to call this model. We're going to make a model property and set it equal to a new teacher. And here we have to have the full name. So the new teacher is going to be called, I don't know, we'll call them Tim. The email is a@b.com. File number is 12, actually it's going to be 123 because it's a number. The school name is going to be PS 120. Program name is going to be APCSA. Training date is going to be, wow, I really should have just made this a lot simpler. 8/1, let's go 2021. Actually, let's go 8/1/2020. So there we go. The training title and time. Let me take one of these things that already exists. Let's do advanced, or actually we'll do the beginner Python one. So Tim is a Pythoner. What else do we need here for this model? And that's it. So let me hit save, and there we go. This is the new teacher. We use the constructor for this. All right, now let me see. Actually, let's see what it says. Why do we do this model thing? App hero. Oh, whoops. App hero form. This is going to be the selector. Oh, but this is app root. Oh, they made the form its own component, I think. Yeah, hero form component. Oh, goodness. I wonder if you can get away with just leaving it on app root, on the root of the thing. Yeah, since I guess our project is just a form, I think we could just leave it like that. Maybe not. Let's see. Maybe we didn't need this model thing. Maybe we'll have to modify this just a little bit. Let's see. The following code creates a new hero instance so that the initial form can show an example hero. All right, so let's do that. Let's remove this model thing and just make it a constant, and we'll call it Timmy. So Timmy is going to be the name of the constant that we're going to use to create this new hero. So let me hit save. And I guess I didn't need to put const in front. I guess that's okay. In a real app, you would inject a data service. Excuse me. This application enables the forms feature and registers the created form component. All right, so we do have to bring in our forms somehow. So let's import that. Let me copy that, and we're going to go back to our app.module, because I think that's where we need to bring it. Yes, so we're going to paste our form in there. The forms module goes there, and we're going to add it to our imports. We don't have we don't have to do any declarations because I have it all in the main component. So we don't have to worry about that. I think that's it. I think that registered the, or that injected the forms module or brought it in. This form is displayed by that. Okay. All right, maybe I'm starting to feel tired. What are we at? 23 hours, 31 minutes. Now, we are not going to give up. We'll go for the next 29 minutes. Okay, let's see. Bind input controls to data properties. Okay, model.name. Actually, maybe we do need that model. But maybe it makes this the default. So instead of Timmy, let's do model. And maybe by default, it'll set it to these values. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. But we will see. So let's start two-way binding the inputs. Okay, so on the... Let me close out this module. Let's look at the app component. So let's look at the first input, the full name. So we are going to add that to the input, and we're going to bind that model dot, I guess it says name here, but we should name it something else. And actually, we're going to need more than just that. Let's do full name. Okay, let's use we'll do that. Model.full name. And we're going to make sure that our code is correct. Our teacher here. Yes, teacher has the full name. There we go. Okay, so that is correct. That's what we want. Model.full name. ID is full name. And I guess we need a name of full name. I hope that's correct. We will see. Remove this. I guess what I could do is I could, underneath here, let's do it in H1. Let's write hi and see if I could see that. Okay, there. So now what I could do is I could try binding it to model.full name. And now when I hit save, okay, so it says Tim here. Good. So it is taking it from this this teacher that I constructed in the component, this one right here, and it's displaying the name. So if I did display that or email, if I did .email, then it should say Tim's email, a@b.com. Okay. So that does work. What happens if I start typing in a name though? So let's say instead of Tim, I start typing in something else. Okay, so we can see we're able to capture what the person is typing in. And the thing is right now that it is right now it's modeling, it's setting the full name to what I have in the constructor, and I don't really want that because I don't want someone to, like, you know, when the page loads, the full name already says Tim, and that's not what we want. So what do we want here? How do we want to do this? How do we actually get this to work right? Let's see. Maybe it's with template variables. Maybe not. So I could remove this H1 also, because I was just doing that for testing purposes to see if it was two-way binding correctly. When you imported the forms module in your component, Angular automatically created and attached an ngForm tag in the template because ngForm is a selector form that matches form elements. So I have to make sure that I do this. So I'm going to use a template reference. So I'm going to not call that hero form, but I'm going to call it teacher form. And it's going to be I'm going to set it equal to ngForm. So now this is what I'm going to be able to, I guess, access some of these things from. Run the app, start typing in the name input box. As you add or delete characters, you can see them appear and disappear from the data model. Yes, I already saw that with Tim. All right, but I don't really want to, fill them in with what's already there. So how do I leave that empty? I guess that is the question. Name is ng model. Let's do that. Let's add that as the, so for name for the input, we're going to use that template reference. Not that, but we'll use a hashtag full name equals ng model. And that may or may not be good or right, but we will find out shortly. Submit the form with ng submit. Okay, so form has to have, we'll create this on submit method on the form before the template reference thing. So I saved that. So, I mean, at some point I'm going to be able to, I'm going to kind of maybe start console.logging the these different template references. So maybe I could log out what the full name is when we submit the form. Okay, I think this should be able to capture the submission. So let's create this function, this method on submit in our component. On submit, let's just see if we can have it console.log, maybe the model.full name. Or how do I capture that? Maybe full name? No. How do I actually capture what the person typed in here? So I guess maybe it's not like that. Or maybe ng model? Actually, maybe that'll work. ng model, and then it's dot full name. Actually, yeah, that might work. Only one way to find out. Let me save that. Let me save this, and we'll display. Actually, model dot. No, it's not. I'm not seeing the different things. Teacher dot full name. No. How do I actually display that? Or maybe I have to pass it? No. There's no way I have to pass it in the parentheses. This just submits the entire form. Oh, maybe it's because it's in teacher form. So teacher form. No. Let's just see if we could log something out when we hit submit. So let's say hi when we hit submit. So when we hit submit, let me open up the inspect element. In the console, when I hit submit, we should see hi. And we do not. So we are not able to capture the submission. All right, so that's not working. This dot submitted equals true. New hero. This dot model equals new hero. 42. This dot powers. Oh, I think I lost my place. My hero dot name. Okay, I brought that in. Extend the input. In the example, a variable is hashtag name ng model. Oh, maybe. So this is on the actual submission button. New hero? Oh, no, that's the new hero button, not the submission button. Okay, we're a little stuck here. Submit the form with ng submit. So how do we access the fields? Use the template reference variable hero form to access the form that contains a submit button and create an event binding. You bind the form property that indicates its overall validity to the button submit button's disabled property. So that's how we disable the button. Respond to form submission. Model.name. Let me see. But it's not even logging what hello. So maybe it's not even capturing that. It's on submit. Let me see. Maybe I'm not doing that right. Let me look back at my my component. Not my component. My HTML component here. So we are on submitting. We are running this method. I mean, this should be working. But it is not. I don't think it's running this method. That's ng submit. That's correct. The hero form, teacher form, we called it. I'm actually stumped here. I'm not sure. All right, not add, but edit, but submit. No, it's not. I mean, can I type in JavaScript right in here? Can I do like console.log hi right within here? And let's see if we can capture the form submit. Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, we can't do that. Maybe we can put it in curly braces. I'm not 100% sure. Now I'm like guessing. No, that's not how we do it. Maybe curly braces and a I don't know how to run the expression. Yeah, I guess I can't. All right, so I guess it's just on submit. But on submit is not working the way that we want it right now. Even though it's correct over here, we do have it here. Let me try it one more time. So when I hit submit, no, it's not submitting. When I hit enter, it doesn't do anything. No, so the submit button is not working, right? Right? It's inside. Wait, let me make sure that, oh, you know what? Maybe it's not working right because it's not inside of the form. Oh, geez, that could be the issue. So let me bring all this up here. Wow, that would have been hard to catch. So I hit save. Now let's see if our on submit displays a hi to the console. So when I hit submit, no. Let me refresh it. When I click submit, nothing's happening. Okay, so that doesn't work either. Button type. Oh, maybe it's because it's a button. Maybe because the type is button, it should be a submit. Let me hit save. Oh, let's see. Refresh. I mean, I think it automatically refreshed, but let's hit submit form. There it is. There it is. Okay, so now we are able to capture the form submission. So now maybe, I mean, how would I have known that? I mean, I guess it was a lucky guess because it has to be a submit of type submit rather than of type button. That's okay. I mean, should I have seen that? Did I miss that over here? Let me see the button. Let me look at the HTML. The button type button. No, that's the new button. Where's the submit button? Why don't I see the submit button? Oh, there it is. Submit button, type submit. All right, so I mean, I would have had to look very carefully and not missed it, but yeah, it was there. It just would have been hard to fix or find, and I got lucky just now. It's probably happened to me before, and just like subconsciously, like my brain decides to try that as a possible solution, and I got lucky. I'll take it. Sometimes we'll take luck. All right, let's see. But yeah, I mean, I could say that it wasn't luck, that it was just me debugging. Yeah, because I didn't really have to console.log high, but I decided I want to be able to see if I'm actually getting the submission, if I could actually detect when someone clicks submit. So I decided to do this. So if any of you have been using a scratch or snap, that's basically the equivalent of me putting a say block somewhere just to see if if that's getting read or if that's actually being executed. So I just did like the equivalent of that in TypeScript/JavaScript. Okay. You know what? I should have drank more coffee because I'm starting to feel really tired. But we're going to go for about 12 more minutes. And let's see if we can display what the person is what the person is typed in the field. So if I do, I mean, I think I should be able to do model.fullname, but I don't know why it's not like automatically. Maybe it's this dot model. Maybe this will work. Oops. So this dot model, so that I know it's like this instance. Oh, here we go. Dot full name. There we go. Okay, so maybe let me do that. Let me add is awesome. Okay, so let's see if that works. So in our form, right now it has Tim by default, but let's see if someone types in, I don't know, Sally Sue, and they hit submit form. Perfect. Yes, we are able to capture that. So look, here in the console, I hope that's a little, it's not too small. It actually looks really small on my screen also. But I hope down here you could read. It says Sally Sue is awesome. So if I change this to anything and I hit submit, it says that, that jumbled mess of letters that I just chose is awesome. So we are able to capture what the person is typing in. So maybe we could take what they type in and we could create that teacher to submit, right? Because that's what we're gonna do. What am I doing again? I'm creating a form to be able to eventually create a PDF from it, or at least, do something with this data somehow, or maybe put it inside of a dashboard. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I am going to, I guess, keep going for now. So we are able to capture the things here. Do I need to have a model here? I think what I'll do maybe between today and tomorrow is I'm going to try to watch a tutorial on template-driven forms so that I can figure out exactly how I should be setting this up. So tomorrow when I come back and I have a little bit more energy and I'm like ready to go, I'll be able to know what to do. Because like right now I'm trying to read this documentation, but to be honest, like I don't do a good job of reading documentation or understanding documentation. Wait, what is this? Oh, this is just what it looks like on this page. There we go. So I don't do a very good job of understanding documentation. I really need to see like video examples. So that's pretty much what my whole channel is. I mean, when you think about it, at some level, that this channel is basically me teaching myself or explaining like what is in my head in a visual manner in a way that I would be able to learn from, and hopefully some of you are able to learn from too. Uh, though I think there's only one person watching, so that's okay. Here is our, yeah. So I'm gonna have to read. You know, I'm gonna have to. I don't want to say read through this documentation because honestly, like reading this is just like it. My brain just like shuts down when it sees this much text. I don't have an easy time reading this stuff and understanding it. I have a much better time when someone is explaining it or showing examples in a video. So I guess it's just the way that I learn or the way that works best for me. But that's all. That's good. For anyone that's made it this far, I do want to show the tutorial that I'm going to be using. But I'm going to do this off camera because I really shouldn't be... Udemy Angular Maximilian. There we go. So this dude is a pretty good teacher on Udemy. This is the course. I bought this course a couple of years ago, I think. But yes, I'm gonna watch this. Maybe not tonight, but tomorrow. Before I start streaming, and then I'm gonna start streaming and trying to implement what he teaches in this course. So right now we are on forms. So if we look at this section, here we go. This is the course project on forms for an hour and 15 minutes. So I'll probably just blast through it, watching it at 2x, and then I'll start streaming and trying to do those things that I learned in this course. I think this will work, and I think he goes over the different types of forms that that exist in Angular, which is template driven or reactive. Okay, so where are we at? Yeah, so I'm not gonna sit here and read this and try to figure it out. I just don't work like that. What